Fish is one of the most preferred sources of protein for man. Fish farming and processing as a business venture also provides jobs for several thousands of people that are engaged in fishing and depending on it for their livelihoods. Fish is always in high demand, and to meet the demand for fish in Nigeria, the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, in collaboration with other stakeholders, have put several measures in place to enhance the fish value chain in the country. What are the efforts and what impact have they made on the farming and processing of fish in Nigeria? That's our focus on this episode of Transforming Agriculture in Nigeria. I'm your regular guide, Gabriel Ojile, urging you to stay tuned for the full package after this short break.
And the production cost, we spend not more than 250 per hectare. And on that 1 hectare, we were able to see 35 to 40 metric tons per hectare. 1 metric ton of cassava per hectare is 50,000. If you realize 35 tons of cassava per hectare and you sell it each ton 50,000, that 50,000 multiplied by 35.
The program kickstarts with news from the agricultural sector. In our lineup, farmers to get 4 new wheat varieties in Nigeria. Also, ARCN signs MOU to promote organic agriculture. Details shortly. The Flour Milling Association of Nigeria, FMARD, in partnership with the Lake Chad Research Institute, is set to release 4 wheat varieties to farmers to boost local production. The varieties are bred wheat, namely Balog Fuman and Niloki Fuman, with yield potential of up to 7 tons per hectare and maturity of 85 to 95 days, while the other 2 are Bayoreka Fuman and Sino Fuman, with yield potential of 6 tons per hectare and maturity of 90 to 95 days. The National Center for Genetic Resource and Biotechnology recently approved the release at the 36th meeting of the Technical Committee on Naming, Registration and Release of Crop Varieties held in Ibadan. The National Program Manager, Aliyu Samaila, said the release of these varieties will revolutionize wheat production in the country by increasing productivity and at the same time satisfying the quality demand of the milling industry in the country. The Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria has signed a memorandum of understanding with the Youth Program on Agriculture and Entrepreneurship Development to promote organic agriculture in the country. The Youth Program on Agriculture and Entrepreneurship Development is a cooperative society aimed at promoting organic farming. The program will be carried out in accordance with the Rural and Urban Organic Agricultural Development Plan, Road P, 2023 to 2028, which is a strategic plan for modernizing and scaling up the organic agriculture value chain in the 36 states and the FCT. The Executive Secretary of the Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria, Professor Garba Hamidu Sharubutu, stated that the Council viewed the project as a plan that would address current gaps in organic agriculture development in Nigeria. Sharubutu added that the Council, in collaboration with the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, will support the plan with content development such as information and communication materials and equip the adopted villages and schools across the country to educate the youth and women farmers on the organic agriculture value chain development. Earlier, the president and founder of the cooperative society, Adams Peter, stated that the project will build the skills of young people and women in organic agricultural principles, practices, and entrepreneurship.
Every part of Nigeria has something to offer.
Welcome back. Nigeria is the largest producer of fish in sub-Saharan Africa. This has been affirmed by the Food and Agricultural Organization, FAO. Even at that position, Nigeria still imports fish to meet local demand. What is the government doing to enhance fish production in Nigeria? The efforts of the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development to enhance fish production and value chain activities in Nigeria is our focus in our next segment. Keep watching.
fish farming is considered an important agricultural activity that is capable of contributing significantly to nutrition and poverty reduction. Annual fish demand in Nigeria is estimated to 3.6 million metric tons. While 40% of this demand is met domestically, 60% of fish consumed in Nigeria is imported. Nigeria spends over 125 billion naira annually on fish importation. This indeed underscores the huge market potentials of fish in Nigeria.
Total fish demand for the country, based on the population of almost 200 million people, is at 3.6 million metric tons. But the total production as for this year, because of the coronavirus, is 1.1 metric tons. And the gap of 2.5 metric tons is supplemented by the import. But as a department in the area of aquaculture, we try as much as possible to see how we can also assist the youth, the women, to go into fish production by encouraging them to establish clusters, fish farm estates, and also look at the whole value chain from production, processing, and marketing.
Engaging in the fishery subsector of the agriculture subsector involves fish farming and fish harvesting, fish processing, fish marketing, consultancy, training, among others. In an effort to develop the fish subsector in Nigeria and prevent importation, the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development has taken steps to increase fish production in Nigeria.
What we do is to develop a program that we call backward integration for all these big-time, importers. If you want to import fish, you must go into backward integration. And what is the policy of backward integration? The policy of backward integration is to encourage these big-time importers to have big farms, establish big farms, employ our people, so that they will go into, increasing the fish production in Nigeria. As of now, we have in all the 6 political zones, at least we have one farm that are supporting the venture.
Another area to boost local production is through research. In this regard, research institutes under the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development are also working towards developing hybrid varieties of fish.
We are able to develop technology of improved, high-yielding variety of fingerlings that we are made available to farmers. That within 4 to 5 months, with proper best aquaculture practices, a farmer is to get up to 1 to 1.5 kg of fish. That was developed and passed to farmers.
Other major components of fish farming and marketing include fish feed and fish processing. In this regard, the research institutes in Nigeria have also developed a local fish feed as well as fish processing technologies that are suitable to meet the needs of farmers.
And if you are going to feed 1,000 juvenile, you need roughly about 65 bags of this 15 kg. That is projected quantity of feed that you need. So at the end of the day, by the time you put it together, it's where that your profit are all gone. So during the WAP program, we're able to develop technology of producing good fish feed that can compete with the foreign one. And farmers are getting very good yield from it. That has increased their productivity. Also, the issue of post-harvest losses. We're able to develop, smoking kill that can dry fish within the shortest time of 8 hours.
What we do as a department is to try and see how we can develop indigenous technologies, so go into fish feed production. By doing that, we also give them 1 ton fish meal. And in this year, we have given up to, the 6 political zones, they are giving at least one, and also train the farmers how to use the fish meal.
The Nigerian Stored Products Research Institute under the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development has also developed technologies to prevent post-harvest losses in fish production. These technologies include an ice fish box and dryer for fish preservation, a technology that will ameliorate the losses incurred by fish farmers, fishermen, and fish sellers. The technologies were displayed during the 43rd National Council on Agriculture held in Jos in 2022.
This is a Nespray ice fish box. It's technology for storage of fish, fresh fish. We have fresh fish and the ice block. This can last up to 48 hours without any quality deterioration. We have fish, the fish that we have here now, presently, the fish has been kept here since Monday, that's about 2 days ago, and you can still see the quality of the fish. So the technology has provision for draining of the melted ice. So you raise it up and the water comes out. If you have any melted ice from the box, then you close it back. This can last for 48 hours without any quality deterioration. And if you want to store it further, you just change the ice and add more to the ice. Then for the smoking cane, we have an arrangement of 5 trays for drying. Then we have the oil collector. This collects the oil as the fish dries, and the oil moves through the tray to a point here where it could be collected into a container, and the oil can be used in the pharmaceutical company.
Aside the technologies for fish preservation, NSPRI has also developed good packaging techniques for fish. This will indeed promote sales of Nigeria fish locally and internationally.
This is an example of the product from the smoking cane, and we have the packaging for smoked fish. This is called composite packaging for smoked fish. You can see this is a combination of paper and polythene. So the paper prevents the light from getting access to the product, while we also have a window for people to see the product that you have in the packaging material. So, and it can hold the fish for up to 6 months.
The program is transforming agriculture in Nigeria, and we are talking about the efforts of the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development in developing the fishery subsector in Nigeria. Aside policy issues, the ministry is also collaborating with stakeholders such as fishermen, fish farmers, marketers, and scientists to enhance production and other aspects of fish value chain. In our next segment, we shall be focusing on Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development collaboration with stakeholders and fish marketers in Nigeria and job opportunities in the fishery and aquaculture subsector. Keep watching.
Okay, all right, no problem.
Besides those who directly catch the fish or engage in fish farming, there are equally large number of people engaged in subsidiary aspects such as marketing, preservation, and manufacturing of fish products and byproducts. The fishery subsector has the potential for job creation. For the supplier of this fish, he has been in the business for years, and it has been a successful business.
I supply this one from Arugungu, Kebbi State. So I get many where when I supply this fish for Abuja here. Yeah, this is my business at all the time. We thank God, Sha, because we don't take for the business. We know everything about the business. The major problem what we used to get is NEPA problem.
As memos from the state.
The Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development engages with stakeholders through the National Fisheries Development Committee, which is a national body that deliberates on fishery issues in terms of policy direction. The 43rd session that took place in 2022 was in Maraba, in Karu local government area of Nasarawa State. It had in attendance the Federal Director of Fisheries and Agriculture, State Directors, former Directors, President of Fisheries Cooperative Federation of Nigeria, among other stakeholders. The stakeholder deliberations gave priority to the following: review the Fishery Act of 1992, popularization of technologies in the value chain, among others, closed season for fishery operations in the inland waterways. Closed fishing season is a period of time when fishermen are not allowed to fish in the inland water. According to stakeholders, the need to advocate for closed fishing season in Nigerian inland waterways became imperative to prevent excessive fishing by fishermen, which can reduce fish population. There are other benefits to this system.
Recent survey show that our catch-up fishery is being overfished due to negative impact of climate change, pollution, various forms of obnoxious fishing, overexploitation, shallow continental shelf, low upwelling, and illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing, IUU, partly due to inappropriate fishery management policy implementation. To consolidate and sustain the socio-economic importance of fisheries in the Nigerian economy, such as an employment creation, wealth creation, food security, poverty alleviation, and source of foreign exchange, there is an urgent need to integrate closed fishing season with the existing management plan as obtained in Ghana and other countries that are equally doing the program.
The stakeholders also deliberated on the need to avoid scarcity during a closed season.
I presented a memo on closed season for catfish, that is marine, that is the migratory catfish, Inanga in Akwa Ibom. Are you with me? This is the very period that catfish is migratory to go and lay eggs. But this is the time it is being targeted by fishermen to be caught. And so I felt it was a very destructive practice at that time. I did the presentation. But I didn't coin it closing season, because when you begin to look at the whole gamut of what is there, you go to Kainji. The reason why you want to close season, it may not be the reason, just as Prof said, why you are closing in another fishery elsewhere.
The closed fishing season and other aspects of the fishery regulation require a review of the Fishery Act of 1992 to ensure that adequate sanctions in line with the modern reality are put in place.
The Fisheries Act of 1992 is absolute. Everybody knows that one, because there are so many things that are not there, and the marine sector is suffering because of lack of revision of this Fisheries Act. Some of the penalty in it is just 50,000 naira, and some of them are just doing because they know it's 50,000 naira. And even Mr. Babatunde, somebody thought that the people now, they know the law. So if you say you penalize them more than that, they will say, what is there in the Sea Fisheries Act? So we need to review this Sea Fisheries Act.
The Director of Fisheries and Aquaculture, Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, throws more light on the impact the review of the Fishery Act will have on the fishery industry.
The stakeholders have actually mentioned the issue of review of the Sea Fisheries Act. I want to state that the Sea Fisheries Act was enacted since 1992, and the act is absolute. And that is why we have a lot of infringement in the marine subsector. Some weeks ago, the Navy arrested some 2 vessels belonging to 2 companies. And because of the weakness of the act, most of these fishing companies infringe on this marine subsector. So that is why we want to sit down, review the act, look at those areas of weaknesses, look at those areas that we can, step up, so that we'll be able to have holistic review of the act and see how the fishing company will not be able to infringe on this marine subsector, so that we'll not be able to, for example, they don't have to go to the less than 5 nautical miles, because the less than 5 nautical miles is just left for the artisanal. So if the marine vessels that we have licensed go to that area, they will just finish everything at the artisanal subsector. So we need to sit down and review the act.
the Fisheries Cooperative Federation of Nigeria, an association that consists of fishermen, fish farmers, processors and marketers, also presented a memo on the potentials of the fishery industry in Nigeria, using Kado Fish Market as a case study. The president of the association, Anthony Ashage, in an interview with our correspondent, shed more light on the marketing potential of the fishery subsector in Nigeria.
We have written another memo whereby I have practicalized our memo in such a way that what are we contributing to the nation gross domestic product. I took Kado Fish Market as a case study. I discovered that every day, only on the side of catfish, only catfish alone and other species of fish, we are able to articulate this data that I want to explain to you, that over about 23 vehicles used to land catfish from Ibadan and other places in Kado Fish Market. And each vehicle carries about 50 rubbers, and one of these rubbers is how much? 30,000 naira. So if you quantify it into 23 vehicles, a day we used to generate a money of 1.5 million. Then if you times it by 4 weeks and then a month, we are making a gain of, we are making a transaction of about 171 million and so on within a week.
Fish farming is a lucrative business, and all it requires is simple training and some capital. According to Dr. James Ocheme Akpochi of Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria, the first thing one who wants to go into fish farming needs is training.
So I will encourage people to be patient and then, seek to know. You need knowledge, and then, with the position of Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria, I encourage people who want to go into fish farming, who are already into fish farming, to come and seek for knowledge. Because we have all it takes in Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria. We have all it takes. We have the expertise that will give you the advice. You want to start your fish farming, you can also visit ARCN to get advice.
For those who cannot afford to go big scale, they can start on a small scale. It is a venture that retirees and even the working class can venture into.
Aquaculture or fish farming is something that you can practice anywhere, even in your palo. Get a jerrycan of water and put fish there and start changing the water and feed the fish. The fish will grow. With the insecurity right now that we cannot go far away, to farm again, I believe the emphasis should now, should be taught. The time has come now for us now to start focusing on aquaculture, because it's something that every person at the balcony of your house, even if it's a rented apartment, you don't need to go and buy a piece of land. All you need to do is, like I said, we develop a butter technology. I believe ARCN will promote it very soon on a large scale, so that a lot of people can key into it. Because the moment we have, a lot of people key into it, we will revamp the aquaculture industry.
Do you have any question about the agricultural sector? Do you have inquiries on any issues raised on the program? Would you like to know more on agricultural processes and practice? Do send us an SMS to the number showing on your screen, and we will do our best to respond. You can also reach us on any of our social media platforms for more information.
With the effort of the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development and the collaboration with private sector, fish production, job opportunities and wealth creation will be enhanced, and the capital flight on fish importation could be used to enhance the nation's economy. Think fish farming, think agriculture. I'll be your guide, Gabriel Ojide. Do have a pleasant night rest.